Well, in case this is not clear enough, today we're going to be talking about bookshelf speakers. Just a quick note, before we proceed with the actual review, I just want to clarify that, as usual, I don't provide any type of sound demo of the speakers. It doesn't make sense because there's too many variables between the microphone I will use, the YouTube compression, the speakers or headphones that you're going to be using. So there's nothing you can get from me giving you a demo of the sound. So for that reason, I will never give sound demos. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry, but this is not the video for you. Here we have some of my favorite bookshelf speakers in different price ranges. And I just wanted to share a little bit of my opinion on each of them, how they compare to each other, what the best use is for them according to my preference. And there's a fifth one that is not here because it's my favorite, but I'll leave that one for last. It's bigger and it won't fit here anyway. I'll give you a bit of a surprise. So first, we're going to start with this one. Famous Numi BS5, and it's a $100 speaker. I mean, how can you go wrong with this one? It's measures good, has good bass, has good output, magnetic grills also. So it's a really, really good speaker. And probably it's better if I make all disappear and in the magic of bad editing, now we only have the one speaker that I want to talk about first. So once again, Numi BS5. It's a really nice speaker, well built, decent size, decent weight to it, and has a nice binding post. Okay. And as you can see, it's ported, front ported, so you can put it closer to a wall, and has magnetic grills, which is very nice for a $100 speaker. They are fit very nicely there. Don't go anywhere. So very, very nice build. It measures really good. The sound, it's very pleasant, very nice. It plays loud and without distortion, within reason. So I like it for a speaker for your desk or a not such a big room. It will play. It will do the job on a not so large room. And if you like to play loud, it should take it too. Depending on the bass on the songs, if it's a very heavy bass, you might run into some distortion because it will try to play the bass and it may not be able to handle it. But it's surprisingly strong on the bass department. I've seen the measurements from Aaron, and it seems to be a really good performer. I was really surprised, and I had the Sony, and which I'm forgetting the model right now, that I tested before. I sold that. I prefer this one. I think the presentation is better on the Sony. That's one of the reasons I kept this. I have many others, but this is one that I kept because I like them for one reason or the other. Yeah, it's the soundstage on this. I think one of the things that I don't love is there's a lot of depth on the soundstage. It seems pretty flat, unlike on a plane. It doesn't feel super wide either. Imaging is pretty good. Detail is pretty good. It's not gonna blow you away with detail, but if you listen to it, you're not gonna feel like, oh man, this speaker is horrible. No, you're gonna feel fine. Now, when you switch to better speakers, you will tell the difference. And as I move, I'll tell you some of the difference between others and this one. But on its own, for $100, I don't think you can do better on this speaker. I mean, I highly recommend this to most of my friends if they want something smallish for the desk. And if they don't want to use a subwoofer, depending on the type of music they listen to, this might do the job. Personally, I always like using a subwoofer, even if it's like a sealed 8 or 10-inch subwoofer for smaller rooms. I always feel like it's the best way to do it, at least for my preference. But if you want to not use a subwoofer with this one, you might be able to get away with it. You might be needing to put it closer to a boundary to get some bass reinforcement. You play with it. But as a $100 speaker, man, this one gets my vote. If there's anything better right now on the market for that $100, let me know. And if a vendor is watching this video wants to send me something for review comparison with this one, I'm happy to help. So send it to me and I'll test it and I'll compare them and give you my unbiased opinion. This speaker was sent by Numi. All the speakers except the PSD Alpha P5 were also sent free of charge. So my links are always either non-affiliate links, or they are directly from Amazon. So no matter which one you buy, I will earn a little bit of money. So I have no bias. I'm just showing you the ones that I like the most. Let's take a look at the second one. This is the Kanto YU4 passive. Obviously, it's a passive speaker, not powered by that name. And here's the back, which is binding posts are smaller than the ones for the Numi. And it's rear ported. It has nice weight to it. It's just nicely built. Yep, the port is a 4 ohms, 70 watts power handling. And overall, this is a 4-inch woofer one. There's also have a 6, and they have some powered ones, but this is the only one that I asked for the review. This one does not come with a grill, so keep that in mind. But overall, it feels good. It's a bit lighter, hollow, a tiny bit compared to my next one. But I like the build. It's holding on very nicely. No damages here. And unlike that carbon fiber kind of look into the woofer. Now the sound, which of course is what matters the most. Okay, so this one, the soundstage is it's a bit wider and a bit more detailed than the Numi. The bass profile on it is a bit odd to me. Like, it feels like it tries to have a little bit more bass. So it seems to be a little bit tilted towards bass in some areas, at least in my room, to my ears. But at the same time, it shows more detail than the Numi. The one thing it cannot do as good as the Numi is playing loud. This one will start this distortion faster than the Numi, or at least to my ears, I heard it faster. And it will start bottom with some songs like, for example, one of the tests that I was doing is Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. At the beginning, that heavy bass intro with a song. If you play it too loud, you can hear the distortion and the woofer suffering, right? So you can play louder with the Numi. But I feel the quality in this one definitely is a step up from the Numi. Now, this one is $180. So it's also a step up in price, right? Now, whether you feel that's warranted or not, that's personal opinion. For me, the quality of the sound, it's definitely there, but it wouldn't play as loud. So if you want to as a nearby speaker, like near field, that's great. I will definitely recommend it. They also offer their own Kanto subwoofers, which I have the 10-inch sealed, and they work together really nicely. I don't feel the soundstage is super wide or super deep. So those things, I wish it was a bit better on that, but the mids are clear. If a bit too forward sometimes, even harsh in some frequencies, like some kick drums can be, or I don't know, there's some frequencies that sometimes hit a bit too hard compared to the rest, while having that sort of veilish warm tone in some areas. But the sound profile overall, I prefer it to the Numi in some ways, but it depends on the song. So between this and the Numi, I feel this one has a slight step up on overall sound quality, but it won't play as loud and it won't handle as big bass as the other one. So it's a trade-off. Pay more for a slight improvement in quality overall. You can tell the better overall sound and detail, but it won't play as loud, right? But it's smaller, so it can fit easier on your desk, on your monitors, depending on how your setup is. The thing is, the third one that I'm going to be testing is one I actually prefer over this one, and it's actually cheaper. Oh, and one thing I forgot, this one has a mounting thread here, so you can put it like on a speaker stand. Kind of nice. Or, in the wall or something, but it's already threaded. Not on the back, just on the bottom. Let's go to the third one. Now, this is, of course, the Mica RB42. Very popular speaker. Has a slightly bigger binding post, rear ported, just like the the canto here. I left it here so just to show you the size. They're about as tall. The canto is wider, but RB42 is deeper, so the mica is a deeper speaker. And it also feels solid, less hollow. So it's a more solid sound, and it's heavier too. So overall, the build feels stronger. Like, I don't know, there's something about this speaker that I really like how it feels. Like it's very well built. Now, it's not all beautiful about it, because this one looks great, but the other pair that I have, the veneer in some areas kind of like started peeling a little bit, probably because of all the handling, testing back and forth, but just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if under normal conditions, just being there forever, it's going to happen, but me handling all over and over, some of it started like ungluing a little bit on the edges here, on the seams on the back part, usually where I grab it. So that's what I'm thinking, it's just all the handling that I've been doing of it. This one is also metallic magnetic grill. So now this one is less elegant than the other one, because you can actually see the magnets, but not a big deal. Very solid too. And these are the drivers. Small tweeter and the 4-inch driver. Now, the reason I like this speaker a lot, and it's actually my second favorite speaker of all the 5 that I'm going to be showing today, although I'm not showing it in order of preference. I started with it, but then I skipped now. This one being my second favorite is because the soundstage is so deep, like literally blows my mind every time I try this speaker. And my room, my ears, your mileage may vary. There's this depth to the sound, like suddenly everything's like, whoa, spacious behind the speaker. I caught myself smiling just looking at them, because it's like, is this sound really coming out from these speakers? It's just mind-boggling that sound that I'm hearing is coming from these tiny speakers. The bass is really, really good on the speakers. It is tilted towards bass, and I saw some measurements that mentioned that and proved that. But it's a lot of fun. I love how they are tilted. It's tilted, but it's not veiled. But there's a catch to that. What you have here is a tiny 4-inch woofer. So there's 2 trades by doing this tilted curve towards bass. First, you either get more bass or you get more sensitivity. So sensitivity on the speaker is the lowest of all. And you can tell the difference in how loud they can play. That's a trade-off in order to get more bass out of the woofers. It's a trade-off that I think it's good, because this speaker cannot handle a lot of SPL, and that's its major drawback. I think because of that tilted curve, the bass is so heavy for its size that if you push it too hard, that woofer is going to go crazy right away, and you're going to start hitting all sorts of weird pops, crackles, and stuff. So, like that Billie Eilish song that I was mentioning, Bad Guy, at the beginning, if it sounds great with the speaker, but if past a little bit too much, that woofer starts going and all sorts of weird noises, and it loses it. So, as a near field monitor, highly recommended. Under my monitors, this will be beautiful. I like it a lot. The soundstage, like I said, is very deep, so when it's close to you, that deepness helps to make it feel like it's not just coming out right there from your speaker. Now, it's deep, and vocals are very detailed, nice imaging. It's not super wide, it's more deep than wide, but it's still wide, and like I said, it just baffles me when I look at it, how much big that sound feels, right? But in some songs, the vocals might feel a bit recessed, especially compared to most of the other speakers here, because the mids, some areas of the mids seems to be a bit more recessed or deep. And I haven't looked at the frequency response recently, but there must be something, or it's my room, where I feel like some frequencies specifically seem a little bit laid back compared to the rest. So if you like more punchy mids, in some frequencies, this may not be the one. But there's something about it that every time I play that song with this, I will stick listening to the song longer than with almost all the speakers except one. And that's a good sign. When I'm interested in speakers and I find myself playing longer demos with specific speakers, I know they're doing something wrong, something right. I'm sorry, because I'm unconsciously I just want to keep listening to it because it sounds so good. And this is one of those two speakers that did it for me in this round. Not that the others are bad. I'm just saying that the sound profile of the speakers, I prefer it over this one and over the Numi, even though this one is like $30 cheaper than this one, because this one is right now is $150 and this one is $180. I will take this one, except if you want more SPL, go with this one or the Numi, because this one won't handle a lot of SPL. If you just want to have near field and you don't want a subwoofer, this one will actually may have enough bass to make you happy, unless you want some heavy bass type of music, that is, then you will want a subwoofer, and this may not be the speaker for you because you might just end up hitting those limits and just getting ugly sound. So you just need to evaluate what your needs are and what your preferences are, because it's hard to find a perfect speaker, at least in this price range, right? So there's some sacrifices or trade-offs that were made in the design, and then you have to decide which one fits you better. For my personal preference, on my small run near field, I love that this one, how this sounds. Small and well built and nice magnetic reels if I need to protect it for any reason. Yeah, just make sure that you don't need a lot of SPL, otherwise skip it. Okay, so this is the PSB Alpha P5. Now, this speaker I purchased a while back. I have 4 of them because they were my Atmos speakers. The reason I wanted it for Atmos is because I wanted something that plays very low frequencies, easily under 80 hertz. That wasn't huge. And that had threaded insert on the back like this one, so it makes it easier to mount. It's a bit on the heavy side to mount, for me at least, but it was doing the job. Now, I decided to change it mainly because my ceiling height is very low, so and the vertical response on the speakers, dispersion is very limited. Basically, you want to always have the tweeter above, below your ear, so when it's mounted, you have to flip it or find a way to do it. And I felt that it wasn't helping me connect all the Atmos in a more cohesive way, more flowing from one speaker to the other because of the limitations of my setup. So I ended up with some monolith THX coaxial speakers that are working great. They don't play nearly as low as this one, but they are doing the job for now. So in any case, back to what these speakers were. So I decided to throw them in because they are still bookshelf. They are not massive. I mean, it's not as easy to put on a desk, depending on what you have. Definitely not as easy as this, or the Kanto, or even the Numi, because this one is taller and it's heavier. I've seen the frequency response on this, and it has a lot of issues. It's a fun speaker. Doesn't put it that way. It's not the most accurate speaker. It's not the most detailed speaker, but it has a very wide sound stage. Like when you play this, you can hear how wide it is. It's very bass heavy. Like it's the heaviest bass of all the speakers here, and you can easily get away without a subwoofer on this one. Again, unless you really like a lot of bass or your music demands a lot of tactile bass. But in most rooms, this one will surprise you how bassy it is, and it handles a lot of power very easily. I played this with a Monolith 7X, with the Stark Fiera 8 that I have now, and small amps like the Fosi V3 Mono and the AIMA A07 Max. It plays great with all of them. It's a very interesting sound in a way that, yeah, you can tell that it's still the towards bass, and it's punchy bass, but it still has a good detail. So it's not like, laid back either. Vocal sounds very clear too. It doesn't have a ton of clarity compared to my main speaker choice today, but overall it's just a fun speaker. Like if I wanted to impress somebody with a bassy bookshelf, this would be the one that I'll pull out right away. But it does, suffer in the detail overall, and there's not very deep on the soundstage, even though it's still there. It's not as deep as this one on the soundstage, but it's definitely wider. But the overall sound profile, I prefer this one. But this one plays much louder, much more bass. So yeah, it depends on what you want it for, right? This will be my choice for simple 2-channel setup where I don't want a subwoofer and I don't want to spend more than I forgot what the price is for this one right now, but it's definitely cheaper than my top pick. So this will be it. Now, if you can step up for my next pick, then I will go with that one because that one gives you a lot more for your money in terms of detail, better bass and all that. But as a fun speaker, it's hard to beat this thing. It's not huge. There's also the P3 Alpha. I had that one. I felt it was just the same, just less of everything. But yeah, it's a fun speaker to listen to. People seem to like it when I demo it. But my preference is this. The moment I switch back and forth, I just feel like this just has a more 3D depth to everything. Imaging is great. A bit more laid back on the middles. This one's more present. So if you like more present mid-range and kick drums or whatnot, then this one you might like it more than this one. But there's a size difference, there's a price difference as well. So keep that in mind. And now let's reveal my favorite of the bookshelf that I have here. Okay, so here's the big boy. The Stark, the Veda 7. This one is about 19 pounds. And it's a bit on the heavy side, definitely well built. Everything about the speaker is really nice. It's a 1.15-inch tweeter and a 7-inch woofer. According to the frequency response, it goes down to about 39 hertz, but I didn't see any plus minus dB, so I'm not sure on that part. And this is the back of it. Rear ported, nice corrugated thing here on the back for the port to prevent noise. And the carbon fiber-ish looking finish here on the woofer that I like so much. Now this thing is $750, so it's a big step up from the others. When I bought the PSB Alpha P5, they were $500 a pair, so this will be $250 more if that price is still the same for the Alpha P5. And it's well worth it. The quality of the speaker is insane. Let me put it this way, so we can get some illumination on the woofer while I talk to you guys. So everything about the speakers is just a step above the rest. Imaging, the detail is super clear. The bass is very punchy, and it can deliver a lot of bass, and you can EQ it and it will take it. But at the same time, it's nowhere near the extreme curve, mid bass, punchy bass of the PSV Alpha P5. This one is a lot more balanced. You can see that the bass is where it needs to be. It's not trying to be too warm or too bassy. It just delivers it with ease, right? But detailed and fast and punchy. And the same thing with the mid. The mid is just very beautifully detailed, clean. Imaging is very clear. The vocals have like this presence to it. It doesn't feel like it's too forward or laid back. It just seems to be right. The imaging depth, it's really good. I still feel like the RB42 is deeper, but it might be just a laid back thing that I mentioned. I guess that impression. But overall, when this thing plays, it's so big and wide, and it's just a different level. The moment, as I was testing, the moment you switch back to the others, it's like everything collapsed, like boom. It's like everything shrunk. The details. I don't know if you ever experienced a high-end speaker, so it's suddenly a song that you know by heart. You suddenly realize, hey, that was that sound there. Where's that sound came from? And that's what I started feeling about this. There's this revealing quality to the sound. I started detecting instruments and tiny things that I never noticed before in songs. And that's the sign of a great speaker, right? It's very efficient too. So it's easy to drive. Again, the worst is the RB42 is the hardest to drive in terms of the efficiency. And it takes a lot of power as well, so you can play very loud with a distortion. It really is a fantastic speaker for $750 on a bookshelf. If you have the money, and it's not too big, because let's face it, it's a big bookshelf, and bigger than most. And at least for the use that I'm doing right now, which is like a desktop speaker, this one will be kind of overwhelming on most desks, right? But if you have the space for it, or a room that you want a nice couple of musical 2-channel audio setup, man, I really can recommend this one. I will still add a subwoofer depending on the room or depending on the type of music you listen to. But if you EQ this one to boost that bass a little bit more to your liking, it will take it. This thing blew me away. It's like when I was talking to Mike about the RB42, if they were ever coming with a bigger Micah RB42, like a 6-inch or something, because I feel like they will really come up with a killer more bookshelf at that with that kind of quality. But they don't have any plans for it. But it's like somebody took the Micah and then make it bigger and improve all the sounds that I like about the Micah and make it into this thing. Like I said, the quality of the sound is it's just amazing. As I've been testing back and forth, switching, and every time I move to this one and then switch back, it's like I can hear everything I'm missing now. If you have the money and the space for this, grab one, give it a shot. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm really impressed by this speaker. Now, like I said, in order of preference, this will take it for me to $750 for the pair. Fantastic. I think they even have their own stands for it. I forgot how much they are. I'm using my own stand and they work great. So, but if you want the matching stand, they sell it too. I don't have an affiliate link for them. I'll just put the Start Sound regular website, so I don't make any money from this. I do make money if you buy the other ones because I'll have Amazon links for those. But again, just buy whatever works for you. Not make money or not make money. I don't make a lot with those. I'm just trying to share my experiences with all these bookshelves since I own them here. So this will be my top pick at $750. Better be, but it's well worth the money. Like I said, you'll be blown away by the detail. You will hear things that you might not have heard before unless you have high-end speakers already. And I was really surprised how much I enjoyed the speakers. All types of genres. I tried like pop, classical, instrumental, all these. Everything seems to sound just great with this. Like I said, here soundstage, deep soundstage it does it all, and the imaging is so precise. Every instrument has its own space, and the vocals just float right there, and it gives like this body to the vocals. Now I'm not gonna get super flowery with my descriptions. I'm not gonna go into the whole chocolate, the bass, and so I don't play that game, right? I'm just stressing the detail that I'm hearing, but I don't go into that kind of audiophile pros and whatever. Again, if you have the money and this is a good size for you, then go for it. You won't be disappointed. My second pick is the RB42 Micah. If, again, the SPL is not a requirement for you because it will bottom out, just watch that part of the video again for more information about the RB42. My third pick, it will be between the PSV Alpha P5 if you want a much bigger, more bass and being able to put a higher SPL with a much wider soundstage. But keep in mind what I mentioned during the part of the review at the sacrifices made in order to give you that bass boost in terms of clarity and depth of the soundstage, right? So there's a trade-off on that one. And last time when I bought them, it's $500. I don't know if it's cheaper now, then it'll be even a better deal. Fourth place, I will be the Kanto YU4 passive. I like it a lot, but I prefer the others for. I guess the Kanto is kind of tied with the Alpha P5. It depends on what you prefer. If you have more bass and more SPL, go with that one. If you have more refined sound, but with a lower SPL and less bass, then go with the Kanto. So it's a trade there. And the last place, but to be clear, last place at $100 and still a great sound is the Numi BS5. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of these speakers. The only one that is a bit more of a how should I put it? Acquired taste will be the P5 because of that heavy boosted mid-range bassy part. but I like them all for different reasons and for different uses. So there's a reason I have them all, right? Because I like them for one reason or the other, so I'm keeping them all. The ones that I don't like, I'm no longer here. But let's put it that way. In any case, I hope this has been helpful, at least, or just sharing my experiences with all these speakers. And if you have any other speakers that you like, you can recommend, let me know. I'll try to reach out to the vendors and see if they want to send some for review or loaners or whatever. If you're a vendor, you want me to check some of your speakers and see how they compare to all this, please reach out to me. Send me a message here or my website, my photography website, or it's easy to find me. So I'll leave a message on the comments and I'll reach out to you. And as usual, guys, please like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, so the algorithm helps me grow my channel. And any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them back to you. Thank you for watching.